Hey everyone, me again. Trying to get this to work, but I think I've managed it. So I'm just trying to find... Yay! I did it. So now that we've got this the right way, hope you can... Ooh. Just trying to get everything into position. So, elephant head is what I'm going to be making, just to check that I've got everything right. You guys can see the light is good. So we're going to start off with a ball. We're going to check that against the size of the body that we've made. So I have got the full tutorial for this over on my channel, but somebody's requested a very similar cake to what I've already made, so I'm just remaking some of them. So we're going to squeeze sort of like where we want the eyes to go, which is going to be here. And then we're going to go all the way around, just creating sort of like a little nub. And this is what we're going to pull out for the trunk. So what I did, Jennifer, was I took the screen lock off, and then when you go on your Facebook Live, you need to make sure when you've turned your camera around that all of the stuff, like your start live button and everything like that, is all the way at the side of the screen, like it moves when you turn the screen. And it worked, yay! Figured something out. So once you've got sort of like a biggish kind of nub, you can then start pulling and twisting to make it longer. So I hope you guys can see, because on my laptop it's saying that it's frozen. It says I can invite you into the live, Jennifer. It says I can bring you on camera. It's giving me that option. Yeah, so once you've got your trunk, as long as what you want it, well then for this one I'm gonna push it to one side. So we're going to have it sort of coming off and then coming back up on itself. So what we're going to do is just create some lines in there, and that's just going to make it easier for that fold to happen. Mark some lines on for wrinkles, and then for the end of the trunk, just make a little hole and pinch around, being careful not to stretch it out so that it kind of like flares a little bit. So now I just have to leave my phone here, leave the stand the way that it's all set up for Saturday. So then we're going to pop on a little mouth, which is going to come here. Just do that with your Dresden tool to have like a half smile. And then because the gap that we've made is quite wide, you can just push the fondant back up again. And then we're going to put a little smile line in the top there, like so. So next, for some eyes, we want the eyes to be quite far apart. I tend to find the further apart that they are, the more kind of cute the animal will look. So just like that. I'm going to do some more wrinkles on the top of the nose. And then I've got some white fondant. And we're just going to make some eyes. So quite simple ones for this one. I'm not going to look to paint them or anything, just because the giraffe I've already made has got black eyes, so it wouldn't make sense for them to for the elephants to be coloured. So just pop those in. Shouldn't need any water to stick them down. It's quite tacky, so it should stay in place as it is. So then with the ball tool, we're just going to mark in where we're going to put those eyes. So I've put them so they're in the middle, like that. And then just with a little bit of black fondant, it'd be good to see what you work on, Marlene. I've got a lion to make. And then what other cakes have I got this week? I've got a half and half, which is half Roblox and half Minecraft. Kill me now. And then I've got sort of like a working, a construction worker cake that I've got to do as well. But for that one, she's just provided some Lego toys for me to put on, but I've got to make I think he does something with phone masts, so I've got to make the masts. I'm still trying to figure out how I should make those, probably with modelling chocolate maybe. So just use your ball tool just to spread out the black in the eyes. I find that really useful because then if one's a little bit smaller than the other, you can just push the black out a little bit more. I'm going to do whites in the eyes, so very small blobs of white. Just stick those on with a little bit of water. Ooh. Just push that down and into place, like so. Elephants are quite hard, Marlene. I usually struggle most with the trunk more than anything, but once you've kind of got that motion out of you know, pulling the trunk out, it's a little bit easier to do. So eyelashes, just roll a piece like that, and we're just going to stick that on with a little bit of water. So grab a thin brush and then just a tiny bit of water. You don't need too much because then it'll just bleed and it's really hard to move once it gets to that stage. So you're just going to pop that on. Try to push it down in one place and then you can push the rest down. We're going to come off to the side. Ooh. So and just flick it up. So it's quite chunky, so what you can do is just go back in with a knife or a scalpel and then just cut the rest of the black off, like so. I've got two different elephant ones over on my channel, Marlene. So I've got one that's very similar to this, but the eyes are, in fact, I think I've got three. One's very similar to this, but it's got painted eyes on. I think the eyes are in blue. Another one is a Dumbo one that I did. And another one from that is the one that's actually the profile picture for the page, which is the elephant on the front of the cake with the watercoloured background. Must admit that was probably one of my favourite cakes of this year so far. Just felt like it came together really nicely, and it's my favourite colour as well, that teal. So there you have your elephant. I give a bit of an open mouth just to the side, and I think I might actually make a party blower that comes out of the mouth and stick that in there, since it's a bit of a jungle party. So a cocktail stick just in some water to make sure that it sticks to the body. Make sure that once your head is on, the cocktail stick's not going to pop out the top. So if it is, or you feel like it is, just take a little bit off. Wet the cocktail stick with a little bit of water. And then we're just going to pop this onto the body. Do it at a bit of an angle, like that. And then for the ears, I'm gonna do some quite big ears, I think, for this one. And we're gonna do the inside of the ears like a pinky, really pale pink colour. And I must admit, this is a part that I always struggle with, getting them the same size and then knowing how to put them on the actual elephant as well. So once you've got your colours, I'm going to pop this on the inside. This is going to go on the, obviously, the outside. And we're just going to roll it out quite thin. The thinner you roll it, the more play you're going to have with it. So you'll be able to get it in different shapes and things like that. So like you can see there, that's quite thin. We're just going to cut out, I guess, like a rough ear shape. Like so. And then with the pink, do the same thing again, make it quite thin. So we don't want to take it to all the way the size of the ear that we've got, but it needs to take up quite a bit of space there. just cutting it out. Roughly. So like I mentioned in the video earlier today, I am looking to do kind of like a weekly live where we can sort of work out what people are struggling with most, and I can try to pop a video on, you know, a live in which we can do it together, or I can do it and you guys can go off and do it, and just try to make the group a little bit more interactive, because we've got quite a lot of members in here and not a lot of activity really. So I just thought to kind of let everybody get the most use out of the group that they can, kind of would be a good idea. And Mondays and Tuesdays are usually quite quiet dates for me, so I just thought that would be kind of like a good day to do it. So there's the rough ear shape. Now if you kind of popped that on right now, you're going to end up with like a big flappy ear, but I kind of want to make it a little bit cute, so I'm going to fold over the top bit to kind of have the ear sort of sagging down a little bit. So you might need to play around with the shaping and any type of folding that you're doing before you kind of make the step of sticking that down. So let's see if it works out better that way. Yeah. So I've just pinched the top and I've pinched the bit there, just wet with a little bit of water, not too much. And you're just going to push that into place. I'm pushing down on the top because I want that bit to kind of droop down, and then I'm also pushing in a little bit of water on the back, and we're going to push it in the back. Now the ear's going to be stuck not only to the head, but it's going to be stuck to the back of the body as well, so that once it's dry, the ear's not just sagging on its own, it's got a little bit of stability. So this is the point where you can kind of put it in any position that you want. It's going to be like that. And now to do the same with the other ear. So I find working with like a sausage shape is best, and then rolling it out quite thin this way first to get the width, and then just quickly sort of up and down. You're going to cut the same sort of shape again. So it doesn't, because the ears are so crumpled and you can't see the full ear, it's not a deal breaker if they're not the same size, because you're not going to really see the full size of it because it's all folded. So same sort of thing again. I've got a bit of grey in there. So how's everybody coping with the new lockdown that we're in at the minute? I must say here, so I'm based in Bradford in Yorkshire. I can't really say that I've seen much of a difference. People still seem to be going out and doing what they were doing. I've been doing cakes for about 5 years now, so I started by accident really. I I ordered a cake for my eldest son's birthday, and then when I had my younger son, it was his first birthday, and I didn't really want to pay a massive amount for, we weren't having a birthday party or anything like that, we were just at home. And so I made him a cake, which was an under the sea cake, so I'll post a picture of it later on. And I just really enjoyed the kind of, I was so focusing on what it was that I was doing. I didn't have time to like think about anything else that needed doing at the house and stuff like that. So I posted the picture, and then I just started to get orders from, you know, family and stuff like that, and then it just kind of grew from there really. But before this I was a nail technician, and I used to do eyebrows as well, so it's a bit of a change, but I really like it. So there we have little elephant. I'm just going to make a party hat for this one to match the friend. So the one thing that did take me a while to kind of figure out is when I make something like a hat. Obviously when you put that on the head, it doesn't sit right, and sometimes when you push it like that, it's still quite rounded and it still doesn't sit right. And so if you just pinch the edge, it's going to give you sort of like a really sharp edge, and it's going to sit on a lot better. So if I just show you, it's just sitting on a lot better. But then if you just stick your thumb in and sort of make a little bit of a well, it's going to stick on a lot better. It's going to fit a lot better. I also find that if I'm making like a cap or anything like that, if you chop the top of the head off, it's easier to get the cap to sit on right. So this cake's for a boy, so they're all going to have, I guess, different shades of blue hats on. So I'm going to put that on. It's hard during lockdown at the minute for cake orders. I've had a few cancellations. But then I found the treat boxes that I did for Halloween were really, really good. And so I'm offering some ones for Christmas as well, and I've got quite a few orders for that as well. I think the larger cake orders are harder to secure because people are obviously watching money and it's really near to Christmas, whereas the sort of like little boxes that, you know, have got like a brownie, a cupcake and stuff like that in, they've just been really, really popular, like little evening treat boxes. So tried to give something like that a whirl. I've got a busy week this week, but this was cakes that were booked in when the lockdown was lifted, and then when the lockdown came back again, it kind of, I had a few cancellations, a few people pushed back to next year. I've only had one wedding cake this year. You know, it's been really difficult. So I'm just rolling some little polka dots. They're going to stick on the hats. They're all going to be different shades of blue, but they'll have matching hats. The thing is where do you have a party right now? You know, everywhere's closed. The play gyms are closed. The restaurants are closed. Pubs are closed. And stuff like that. So it is a bit hard at the minute to even plan. You know, so people are having small do's at home, and not everybody can afford a cake, you know. Yeah. must admit here, I mean, I've been to the supermarket and even just sat outside, sat in my cake room, I can hear the traffic passing. And during the first lockdown, there was just no traffic, you know, everywhere was quiet. And you could really tell that we were sort of like in a lockdown. But this time round, I don't know whether as many people are, you know, taking part in the lockdown properly. So like with the giraffe, I've got a red ball. And we're just going to stipple that with it's quite a firm brush that I've got. And we just want to make the sort of like the texture really uneven. And then you're just going to sort of fold it back in on itself to make a ball. And then we'll just pop that on top. So there you go, there's the elephant finished. I'll just pop some polka dots on the back of the hat. I've got a little cake that I did with a number 1 and some sprinkles on it. And then the giraffe as well. So thanks for joining me, Marlene. It was nice talking to you. I'll see you all again soon. Thank you, bye.